Greetings. In this video, we are going to see the beautiful poem written by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. Hello everyone, I am Dr. Uma Devi, Associate Professor of English working in Dr. N.G.P College of Arts and Science. So what is in this video, Road Not Taken by Robert Frost? Here in this video, I have given a gist about the author and a detailed analysis of the poem with the line-by-line explanations. So to mention about the author, Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken is a poem written by him, Robert Lee Frost. He lived during the period of March 26, 1874 to January 29, 1963. He was an American poet and his works was initially published in England before it was published in the United States. And he is known for his realistical depiction of the rural life and his a beautiful command of American colloquial speech. And Frost, he frequently wrote about the settings from the rural life in New England in the early 20th century. And most of his themes are to examine the complex social and philosophical themes. So he can be recognized as a 20th century poet. And he the one for the 4 times received the Pulitzer Award for Poetry. And he became one of the America's rare public literary figure, and he was also awarded with the Congressional Gold Medal in 1960 for his poetic work. So he, on July 22, 1961, named as a Poet Laureate of Vermont. This is a gist of Robert Frost. Now let's see about the poem, analysis and the line-by-line explanations. So what is this poem, The Road Not Taken, is all about? Road Not Taken is a beautiful poem. Here the road, the symbolical representation is not just the road, it is about the life. So Frost, the ordinary road, he has seen in an extraordinary way, and he has presented his imagination in this poem, The Road Not Taken. So here comes an important place for every man in his life, a turning point to take up certain decision. And the turning point here in this poem is indicated as a turning place in the road. And the road diverge. Which road the man is to choose, the poet is to choose. Like this, every man in his life undergoes the situation where he comes to a turning point of his life and he has to make a choice. And the choice is not just a decision, it is a sturdy decision the man has to make in his life, because later he should not regret. Once the decision taken cannot be undone. This is a very symbolical idea given in the poem Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. So the Frost here mainly talks about the choices. What the choice the man pick, how the man uses the opportunity in the life is what the highlight of the poem. Later, because the man should not regret, because decision taking is easier if we are not going to regret later. Decision taking is tough if we are very clear and later how the differences the very decision is going to make in a life matters a lot. So it is a beautiful poem which consists of 4 stanzas, and each stanza carries 5 lines. So road not taken here, it describes the struggle how the individual is facing before the one comes to the decision. So here in autumn season, the poet, while traveling in the road, he comes to the place where the road get diverged. And in a yellowish wood on an autumn morning. Why the season? Because the season which is much important in creating a change for a year. Because we all know that autumn season, the leaves will wither, the life is off. And later, because of the rain in the spring, the life will be blooming. Like this, the diverging point is a very crucial point. The man has to wither all the dilemma, the man has to wither all the questions in his mind and to come up with the right decision, the decision making time. That is what given in this poem. So in this poem, here comes an individual. The individual is none other than the poet. He comes to the junction point where in that crossroad in the yellow wood, he is about to take the road and two the paths diverges. And which path is suitable for him is the question raises in the individual's mind. So when the man is about to make a decision, what the man will do? The man will be introspecting the ways and the man will be having lot of doubts about the way. Like this, here also the individual, the speaker of this poem is in dilemma. Which path to choose? So he is seeing two the roads, one is going high, one is going low. So which road to be preferred? Being in the turning point time, being in the diverged place in the yellow wood, he is to decide which road to be selected to travel. So he looks one road and the road is bending underneath. And after weighing the pros and cons with the quietness, with a very studied mind, the poet is coming to the conclusion to travel in the road which is less traveled according to him. So he is preferring that less traveled road. And later he just come to know about that the another road also seems to be less traveled. So why the less traveled road is prescribed by the poet? Because the poet is a lover of solitude. So he wants to prefer the less traveled road. So also he prefers and he is prescribing that to the readers in making them prefer the road which is less traveled for the much exposure. So he is making the decision in traveling in the road. And later after traveling, he comes to the dilemma because after traveling to some extent, he was able to feel that the another road appeared to be the same. There is no differences when it is compared with the one another. So this dilemma is bringing all the confusion in his mind. At this juncture, the poet is thinking about the very philosophical thing of the life. Going back is not possible because going back is a waste of time, is waste of manpower, is waste of everything. So whatever comes into the path, now the poet in a phase to overcome and to go with the path where it leads. Here he gives much importance of one thing in the life. So decision making should not be done immediately. Before taking a decision, the man has to think. Only then the man has to make a decision. Once the decision is made, then it cannot be undone. So self-realization is very pathetically and ironically stated here. Why it is pathetically and ironically? Because he thinks that this particular path is fine and good for traveling, but later he feels that is not smooth or good or interesting. So life is something ironical. What we expect, the different will happen. Later, after taking a decision, the man should not feel the regret for taking the decision. Whatever the ups and downs come in that path, the man should have a confidence in facing that, because that is his choice made in his life. So that importance of self-realization and the very steadiness in the mind is expected, is very much emphasized in this poem, Road Not Taken. So because the man cannot regret in his life, because the very decision what he has chosen decided all the differences in his life. So, Road Not Taken, which beautifully opens with the imagery, and it depicts two the roads in yellow. It's what it is, because here the poet is cutting a sorry figure after choosing a road. So the dilemma is beautifully portrayed in the choice. Once after the decision is made, the man should not be in dilemma. Before making a decision, the man can think wiser, introspect the pros and cons, then only he has to decide, is what the very idea given in the poem Road Not Taken. And we can also see that the character who is coming in the Road Not Taken is often feeling disappointed, because what sort of expectation the man is possible to carry after making a decision all the time, the very expectations will not come true. The expectation will not be satisfied. The man has to be ready to face all the challenges. So that in that way, the road is something, the choice the man makes, and he has to believe that it will be better, and with that betterness he has to move further. So that is a philosophical thing given in the poem. And we can beautifully see in the last two stanzas, he concludes how the uncertainty, after deciding the road, he comes into the very conclusion of understanding whatever the choice he has made, he has to bear the choice. Later in the life, if the man had a chance of regretting, the only possible thing is that regretting. Other than that, nothing can be undone. The change which happened in the life is something permanent that cannot be undone, because the man cannot come to the turning point, and the man cannot start the another life or the another decision. The turning point, when he has to decide something, the time is over. The very road he's as a traveler started to walk. So whatever the experiences he gained, that experiences left marks. So all this talks about how we encounter the choices in our life. So when the choices are there, we have to be very careful in making choices and making a decision. So in same way, Frost beautifully expresses the first choice he thought of having for one day, and the second choice for the another day. But the same is not possible for everyone even to think or to implement. So in the last stanzas, he expresses the regret, and he says that if at all he wants to regret later, the only the regretting is possible, because the traveled road is traveled, and all the differences what the road makes is something permanent that cannot be taken back. So he very well says that life is all about the paths like this, and we have to choose the right path to walk throughout without regretting. This is what beautifully given by Robert Frost in the poem Road Not Taken. That's all. Thank you.